I just know, again, your journey and what you do for what you've done for the sport and for it to finally get recognized like this. I know you say you were floating on air, but I mean, who do you think about when the name Dick Vermeil and Pro Football Hall of Fame are said in the same sentence, Coach?
Well, to be honest with you, I think about the coaches that I have great respect and admiration for that aren't in there yet. And I'm going to try to save them a seat, and I hope I live long enough to see them all get in. Mm-hmm. Because, as you know, Rich, we have some very deserving people out there that aren't in there yet. And there's only been 10 coaches put in the last 25 years. So there's room for more. And when people ask me, I think, God, I'm so grateful, but also I'm sorry these other guys aren't already in.
Well, I mean, who was your mentor, Dick, when you first started? Who's that person who gave you the leg up and started to, help you hone your X's and O's? Who's that?
Well, Rick, if it wasn't for a high school coach taking his first head coaching job at Calistoga in 1954, I probably would not be sitting here. He just inspired the hell out of me, and he was so positive about what he thought I could do as a football player. I'm the count of 1,800 people, a school, 130 kids in it, and he tells you, you could play football. And I just love the game, and so I decided, well, I'm going to be like Bill Wood. I'm going to go to junior college, catch up. Then I walked on at San Jose State and decided I wanted to be a high school football player. And from that time on, I never turned down a job that looked like a good advancement opportunity. So.
Yeah. And then just in terms of who opened your mind on offense, who was that guy who opened your mind on offense?
I worked at Stanford. Bill Walsh was on the staff. Jim Moore was on the staff. Mike White was on the staff. I was always around, football guys, real football guys. I mean, I've sat around the table with John Madden when we were junior college coaches, these kinds of things. But, then into the NFL, it was Ted Marshall-Broda. Stimulated me. Roman Gabriel, those two people, my first year in the league in 1969. Howard Snellenberger was on that staff. And I was coaching the special teams as the very first special teams coach ever hired. But I went to all the offensive meetings. And then later on, 2 years later, I'm back there, offensive coordinator. And then I'd go to Chuck Knox. And you talk about sophistication in the running game and the importance of it and the discipline of it and the fundamentals of teaching it, and these kind of things. And Tommy Prothro, I learned so much about practice organization and the fundamentals approaching to make players better. The guys that you have, make each one of them better. Tommy Prothro, and I was so fortunate to do that. Then I get into, my own jobs, and then I bring Sid Gilman with me, and Sid Gilman was like having a walking encyclopedia with you every day. And he coached the quarterbacks on the field. I still ran my own offense and those kinds of things in those days, but he coached our entire offensive staff on how to be better football coaches, as well as improved our scheme, And then Al Saunders, Mike Martz nobody did a better job than Mike Martz at first year as a coordinator than he did for us in 1999, And those kind of guys, Jim Hannafin, they were all positive influences on me, really.
Dick Vermeil, Pro Football Hall of Famer here on the Rich Eisen Show. And when Madden went in, he said the busts talk to each other when the lights go out at night. What?
Oh, that's a great statement.
I know, right? What will your bust say to Madden's when the lights go out, Dick?
I'd say, John, you deserve every accolade you have received since your passing, and I hope everybody said that to you before you passed, so you really know how sincere and meaningful you were to people in the National Football League. He helped me also in broadcasting. I traveled on the bus and that kind of stuff. So, and he was so good to me when I came into the league because, like I said, we met all the way back in junior college coaching days. And he was the first guy that called me when I got the head job at the Philadelphia Eagles and invited me to spend time with him at our first owners meetings. And he spent all his free time with me. And then I get in broadcasting. All of a sudden, I'm doing games next to his booth. I'm not live. He is. And myself and Frank Gleber did 2 broadcasts on side booths and traveled on the bus with him to the next game. So I have great admiration and respect for the man,
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.